started. I'd like to welcome everyone to week 45 of Laboratory of Redemption, our Sunday gathering of adjusters. Our topic for the month is what the hell, and that's HAIL, just to be specific. Um, I would like to explain our purpose, our mission, our vision, and our core values before we get started. The mission statement of the 360 Adjuster Academy is to provide premier training and mentorship to new and existing independent insurance adjusters so that they can become subject matter experts within the insurance adjuster industry. Our core principles are faith, which is a firm belief in something for which there is no proof, integrity, firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values. Number three is resilience, the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. That's thriving in spite of circumstances. And number four is production. Production is the act or process of creating something of value, such as goods, services, and specifically in the insurance adjuster industry, closing a claim. Our business model at 360 is to combine your vision within our vision. A self-introduction of myself. My name is Kayvon Hill. I'm a part of the marketing team at 360 Adjuster Academy. I started adjusting in 2021. I worked consistently, I'll say for about 2 years. My last deployment was, some time ago back in June of 2023. We all have been feeling, the slow season of the independent insurance adjuster industry. But one thing that I can say is that there is hope. Like Meeks just said, it's time. The deployments are rolling back out. It's been consistent storms and tornadoes and hailstorms going on, specifically where I currently live in Houston, Texas. That was a really bad tornado about two days ago. So, but I started off my insurance adjuster industry doing property in the field. I haven't had the luxury of experiencing the auto yet, or working virtually from home, but I definitely can say that my forte and what I enjoy doing is the property field deployment. And I went on my most recent deployment was a 7-month deployment, and it was in Indiana, fairly close to Chicago. But one thing I always tell people every meeting is that I I didn't make any mistake choosing to become an insurance adjuster. This is by far the best decision that I've made so far in my life, and I have no regrets when it comes to it. It has brought me a lot of opportunities. I've gained a lot of experiences, and I've met a lot of people that I would cherish for the rest of my life. But that's a short introduction of myself and my adjusting experience. I would like to announce that today our guest speaker is Demetrio Chacon, Michi, Big Meech. Before we go ahead and I introduce and transition to Janae, I would like to give a reminder to please fill out our feedback form. If you have any questions that need answers, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll give you guys some answers to the questions that you may have. But Janae, if you would like to come on out.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Just to piggyback off what Kayvon said, the dam is slowly breaking. Okay. Each and every week that we're going through, we're experiencing more storms. This past week, like Kayvon said, the thing that happened in Houston was absolutely crazy. There are more storms. I mean, even today alone, Kansas is already getting rocked. Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, even Wednesday, there's supposed to be some pretty decent storms out there across the Midwest states. So I just want to talk a little bit to, just staying prepared. I know we've talked about being prepared for a very long time. But some of the things I kind of want to touch on is knowing how much like your expenses are for the month. That's a big thing for me because when you're on the road, are you going to be paying 2 rents? Do you have a working car? Are you going to have to rent a car? These are some of the things that you should know exactly how much your expenses are per month. Because when you get some of those calls that'll come out, it can be all different type of assignments. You don't know if it's going to be a desk assignment or a CAT assignment. You don't know if you're going to be working component, hourly. If it is hourly, how many hours? These days they're doing 5 10s, they're doing 6 12s. They could be doing 7 12. So see, these are some of the things that when you do get that phone call from some of these firms, I know that a lot of us aren't in a position to turn down deployments, but you also want to ask questions when you do get the call. Even if it's just to buy yourself a little more time while you're on the phone to calculate how much you might be getting paid. Um, but you can ask these firms, hey, which carrier is this for? What type of claims are they? Are they wind? Are they hail? Are they interior claims? Asking how much the pay rate is it component, is it hourly? Okay, if it is hourly, how much is it per hour? These are some of the things that you want to get familiar with. And again, I know that a lot of us aren't in a position to turn down deployments, but you want to make sure that you can afford to get out there and do that assignment that they're asking you to do. So but with that said, like I said, just try to stay ready. You know what I mean? We all trying to get back out there, but just stay ready, calculate your expenses. Like Travis mentioned a few times, make sure your car is in good shape. Each and every week that's passing by, more and more deployments are coming out. I mean, I heard of some recent deployments this past week in Nebraska, down in Texas. Another thing I want to mention is looking into some of the daily claims too. Even though deployment may not come, some of those Midwestern states, they do have daily claims. Get with Alacrity, get on their roster. I know that they are giving out daily claims. I believe Sedgwick also has some type of program where the newer people can go out and do an inspection, maybe not have to write the report as well, but still just getting your feet wet and getting on some of those rosters. That's kind of the stuff that I wanted to touch on. I never pray for destruction, but I definitely do a rain dance just about every weekend, hoping for that rain. You know what I'm saying? Keep everybody safe. I want everybody to be safe, but I'm rooting for the rain. That's for sure. With that said, please continue to fill out the feedback form. You guys have to understand that I speak for myself, but I'm sure I speak for the other members of this community. We want to serve you guys. I want to see you guys win more than anything. So please fill out the feedback form. Let us know the things that you want us to help you guys with. That's very important to myself, and I know a lot of members of this community. So please don't hesitate on that front. But let me not slow up the rest of the show. I'm excited to see what Meech got planned for us. You know what I'm saying? I love his energy, and I'm happy that he's here. I'm happy that he's about to bless us with some of this good knowledge. So, Meech, come on, baby, come online and show us what you got today.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? I hope everybody's well. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes,
Am I off
sir.
mute?
Loud
I'm
and
off
clear.
mute. Loud and clear. Okay, good deal, man. I hope everybody's had a great week. Looks like can y'all see my screen now? Hold on. I think boom. Now we should be able to at this point. So I just okay. Can y'all see that? All right, good deal, good deal. Appreciate it. Again, man, welcome everybody. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your attention a little bit. Again, my name is Demetrio Shakan, aka Michi, aka Go Mavericks. Yeah, nice. But man, again, man. So I'm not gonna go a bunch of whole bunch today, but I just wanted to touch on. We've been having some great here last couple of weeks, man, with Janae and with Kayvon going over, speaking on their inspections and, just being prepared and things that you may need on your inspections and how that looks. So I want to touch on a couple of things like that. So I want to welcome y'all. This is my welcome to ladder safety and stuff. So just like the topic says, basically, the stuff, is just going to be a couple of little things, that I just wanted to add on, just popped in my head about, what Travis and I mean, not Travis, Janae and Kayvon had spoke on with their inspection stuff. But, one of the most important things for me is ladder safety and how you beginning and starting. That's real important for me. So I'll be speaking to that, man. But a little bit about myself, my history for those who don't know. I've been adjusting since 2018. Um, me, Travis, and Major, of course, famously, we were all on our first deployments together. Hurricane Michael. It was an outside field deployment, and that's how we all met. So I worked 2018. I had one deployment in 2018, made a few $1,000s, not a whole bunch. 2019, it was dead. It was slow. Nothing happened 2019 for me. I wound up working somewhere else. I was out of the business. I was gone. I wasn't even adjusting. Um, in 2020, one of my mans called and was like, "Yo, you got to get back in it. There's a lot of stuff going down. There's a lot of stuff happening." So I got back in it, and I was inside. And 2020, and I've been going strong ever since 2020 when I got back in. So I was an inside adjuster, coming back in, and that experience, and just to be quite frank, my private, my home life, man, just going through. I was coming out of a marriage, and last year, and ending that, and I was like, I want something totally different, I want something new, and I said, man, I'm gonna get back out in this field. So the beginning of last year, man, January the 2nd, I was out in South Carolina working. So I spent the majority last year out in the field from South Carolina to New Mexico and Illinois. So I spent a good 9-10 months out of the year last year working in the field. And so, with that being said, like especially Janae, she did a great, wonderful presentation on the outside and exterior inspection. And when for me when I'm doing my inspection, we start the same way. Front, right, rear, left. This is how they teach you. So when I'm doing my inspection, I start my in front. My first photo is going to be, of course, the risk photo. But from there, I'm going front and I'm going to my left. I bookend my photos. So you'll see the front, that elevation, if it's the front elevation, and then you're going to see the front left. And then it's going to show you that picture. I finished my front elevation with a front right. My next picture after that front right is my right elevation. After my right elevation, I go my front, my left, right on the right elevation. It's just, I keep that same thing. And once you get an order, and you keep an order, and you're going around. As I'm going around this house and doing my inspection, I'm looking at where I want to put my ladder. What's the best place for my ladder? And the night before, when I'm looking up and I'm getting everything in hand, I pull up the photos and I try to look there as well. The night before, I'm looking at the home and I'm trying to see what I can see, so I can get a plan, a route, and the best entry to get onto the roof. So, but when I'm doing my inspection out there, that's what I'm looking for as well. So I'm doing all of that, and again, that gave you some great information on doing that. So there's no need for me to really get into any of those things. But my whole thing here is, when you're walking around the house and you're doing that, lift up that spot to put up your ladder. You want to try to be on as level as possible. Grass and concrete, it's a preference. For me, depending upon the time, I prefer grass. Putting grass. I'm thinking about if I got to come off, I'd rather have a soft landing than hitting on this concrete. That's what my mind is thinking. I don't want to come off, but however, if I do, that's definitely in my mind.
That's a good point.
So as I'm going around doing my inspection on the elevations, that's what I'm doing. So once I have that determination, where I'm sitting up and setting up my ladder, we get to set up the ladder. So in the morning times, another thing that you want to consider is dew. When your shoes get wet and everything out there, and you go to step on these ladders, and they're aluminum, and it gets real slippery. So you may want to, make sure that you keep it in mind as you're getting around and you're approaching these ladders and stepping on these ladders. If you don't have those little slip covers on your shoes or anything like that, you may want to consider getting. That's a consideration. So, all right. So a couple of things. This is more along the lines of the stuff that I wanted to show. As you can see on these photos, I know we were discussing last time a couple of photos, pictures with and without the flashlight. As you see on this far left slide, that's a downspout without the light. When I put that light on it, you see those dings, how it just pops up there. It just shows up, boom, boom, boom. You see the ding on the right downspout. You can see it. However, once you put the light on there, it really, really pops out. And then, like I said, you don't have to go and you're not marking up. You're not getting chalk out. You don't have to do all of that in order to make it pop out and take these photos. These photos, all your photos, a document to support whatever it is that you have to say. If there's no damage or not, you want to take your photos. That's what these photos are for, to support what you're saying. This is a photo of a gutter. You look on the left, you don't see anything. You're like, oh, that gutter's clean. And until you put that flashlight on it, and you see this big old thing popping out, you know, and storms, and when there's a lot, sometimes you look in that gutter and it looks just like the one on the left. And you put that light on there, and man, those are things that popped all over there. So it's good. You don't have to do a whole bunch. You don't have to reach. You don't have to reach over on the edge on those high roofs to try to, mark under and all of that stuff. So it really saves you some trouble, saves you a few steps, and it just helps you out. Makes it a little safer. So, all right, man. So here we go. So be careful. Pay attention. It's the biggest things for me. Just paying attention to your surroundings. Safety is no accident. Safety is very purposeful. You have to do that. You have to do purposefully be safe. So 50% of all ladder-related accidents were due to individuals carrying items as they climb. You've heard me speak before about keeping my hands free as much as possible. That's why I use a vest. Or whatever you use is for you to be comfortable. Be careful on carrying stuff, carrying your clipboard, carrying, you got your phone, carrying your camera. Put that stuff on you. Get you a lanyard. Put stuff in your pocket. Make sure that you have these 3 points of contact that they're speaking of when you're getting on these ladders. The main types of ladder accidents is selecting the wrong type of ladder. Consider the ladder's weight, capacity, and necessary height of the ladder. Let me just go through this. So 2, using worn or damaged ladders. Damaged ladders are extremely dangerous and they can easily break while being used and cause serious injuries. Number 3, incorrect use of ladders. While using a ladder, always maintain 3 points of contact with the ladder to ensure stability. Number 4, incorrect placement of ladders. Make sure that when positioning a ladder, the ground you place it on, again, is level and firm. You hear this over and over. Every year, over 300 people die in ladder-related accidents. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I just want to show you the importance of this. And I want this to stick out to you guys and to remember this. It's very important. Every year in OSHA, every year ladder-related citations are OSHA's top 10 citations. They stop and pulling over. That's another consideration that you have when you're setting up. OSHA will drive by. And especially in some of these areas, that's just got hit by tornadoes, catastrophe areas and things like that. That's part of their job. That's what they do. They will drive by and make sure that you're set up correctly. And if not, they will find you. Thousands of people suffer disabling injuries from ladder accidents every year. So let's be really, really careful on how we're setting up. And I'm putting this first. I hope to scare you. Sounds a little bit, scary, but I wanted to scare you. I don't want you to get up there and get comfortable and get easy and think, let me run up this ladder. And because it's just not that. I want you to pause and take, and slow down. Are my shoes dry? Is this? I mean, all of these things matter, man. And from the simplest part is going up a ladder, but it's the most important part for me. And that's why, when I speak, this is what I want to really press to y'all, how important it is for safety and to be safe. Because I want everybody to go home every night. That's what we want y'all to do, to make it to the house, to get this money and make it back home, make it back to your room or wherever you are. So let's make sure that we're safe out there. Let's not be this guy right here.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let me show you that. Let me see exactly what we did here. This guy's finna actually try to adjust his ladder while he's on it. So, yeah. Hold on, let's listen. Yes, what's gonna happen? That's like you're gonna be doing all of that. The dog is like, man, I tried to tell him. But this is something. Don't be up there doing that, man. When you get in your ladder, don't overextend yourself. Don't reach over too far trying to mark a hell hit. Don't do any of that. Make it easier on yourself. There's other ways that you could do that, but make sure you're setting up correctly when you're putting your ladder up. So here's a few ladder safeties and ladder rules. So use the proper ladder for the job. Again, you've heard this. Use a ladder that's the proper length. Set up straight, single, or extension ladders to be at approximately 75-degree angle. I'll explain that a little bit later. Be sure all locks on extension ladders are properly engaged. Sometimes when you have some of these extension ladders, like the collapsible ones, I've seen people fall and those collapse into them, and because they haven't been locked into each other. And there's a lot of accidents that happen with those. Never place a ladder in front of a door. It's not locked, blocked, or guarded. All right, so always face a ladder when ascending or descending. Again, here's another maintain 3 points of contact. 2 feet plus 1 hand, or 2 hands plus 1 foot. The top of the ladder should never be used as a step. Never be. If your ladder is barely making it up there and it's barely fitting to the top and you don't have anything excess, that's not correct. And it's dangerous to get up there and trying to get the foot up there and you barely, I mean, we probably done it or whatever, but it's just not the safest thing. Yeah, it's not safe at all. Ladders should never be moved, shifted, extended while occupied. Never carry an object or load that could cause you to lose your balance. All right, so the ladder rule is 4-to-1 ladder rule. For every 4 feet that you go up, your ladder should go out a foot. If you go up 12 feet, your ladder should go out 3 feet. And that's just the 4-to-1 rule. Try to remember that as you're setting up your ladder. If you got it going up high, ask yourself, am I 3? Do the math. Because if it doesn't look right, it's probably not. And you want to, again, practice safety, safety first. I can't stress that enough. Going in here, they're going to teach you about all of these things, the components of a roof, teach you about, everything. But what I want you to really pay attention to and to focus on is being safe out there again, so we can make it back home to our families. So this getting again the ladder is biggest part of your job. That's how you're getting up and down on these roofs. So we got to remember, be safe, take our time when we're doing that. So here's a few things when you get on that ladder to help you be safe, a few pieces of equipment. That first one there with the guy stepping off, man, that thing right there is like, it's golden. It's so great when you're stepping off a ladder because you don't have to step to the side or anything like that. You just walk straight off of it. So that's really, really good. The one to the right of it is a ladder stabilizer. Those fit onto your ladder and they stabilize your ladder as well as not a lot of rocking, anything like that, and it's very safe and secure. This bottom left is a ladder lock. As you can see, it clamps right onto the gutter and it has an arm that fits over your ladder and it secures your ladder in place. There's not a lot of rocking. They won't be going side to side. You don't have to worry about that. And you're not damaging the gutter with that. Then, of course, it's good old fashioned bungee cords. If you don't have anything else, man, wrap those bungee cords. I usually try to get them with one of these little hooks in the gutter and wrap them around that and hook it on that and wrap it in between my the legs of the ladder so that it won't move. And I utilize that if you don't have any of these things. But whatever you do, get something, do something. Because sometimes when you're stepping off the ladder, it can shift. The wind can shift your ladder if you out there and it's a really, really windy day. It's the last thing you want to do. You're doing an inspection and you hear your ladder sliding off.
Boy.
Home. What are you going to do? So you want to prevent these situations from happening. And it happens. I mean, these are not freak stuff. It happens. So we want to do what we can to prevent these things from happening. So once I get my ladder set up and I'm on there's a few photos that I personally, try to take. I should have probably put this one on the roof, the other one on the roof. However, let's start off with the picture to the left. You see the measuring. That's the gutter. We got to get a good gutter size photo. It's a 5-inch gutter. But if I can get that measurement along with seeing if the gutters are drilled in the drip edge, I'll get that. if I could get all of that, if I had another hand, if I could get that measurement with that photo with the drip edge and lift that up and get that photo to see the layers, then that's 3 photos in one photo. You don't have to go by
Good
and just take
point.
you just take this one photo, click, boom, and it's going to speak to everything that you need to speak to. In the photo, you will say, you know, drip edge, a gutter nail through drip, single layer, 5 inch. It's going to take everything, and then instead of sitting there, have to take 3 photos, boom, 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 take one photo, boom, and you move on. You want to be quick with that. Um, and then the middle one is just showing layers, showing felt, and it's showing the drip edge, the gutter being screwed through the drip edge on this one. Now, also when I'm on the roof, you see that R, that stands for right. So you can be front, right, rear, whatever you do it, back. Because of R's, 2 R's, right and rear, I usually use B for back. But when I'm on my edge of the roof there and the gutters, and I'm on my eaves, I usually write which slope it is, which direction, and point to where I'm at on the gutter. So when I'm taking this photo, because once you go through, sometimes when you go into your photo documentation, you, if you don't have it marked, you're like, what side is this gutter? This is a gutter, and I know it's damaged, and so I try to represent each side, of the gutter. I have one that says right, left, back. Sometimes I put directions on them, like northeast, west, south, like that. So, but either way, just putting that on there, and the damage that's on the gutter right there is an easy photo to take. And it helps if you can get that and show that, because all it takes, that one ding right there, that takes care of that whole side of gutter on that elevation. So if you can do that
um,
for each, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add why that picture, those first two pictures are really important. Is because if you're going to go ahead and replace the roof, but you're not replacing the gutters, you'll have to make sure you add to that report that you're detaching and resetting the gutters in order to replace that drip edge that you need to replace when you're replacing the roof. So that's really important to get that
Yep.
photo.
Yep. Because a lot of times, sometimes the gutter won't be damaged. The gutter won't be damaged, but you're replacing that slope or something, replacing that roof. So um, if the gutter's not damaged, they're like, oh well, you don't have to touch it. But if it's drilled through, well, now I'm gonna have to take that off and detach and reset, like she says, and that's just more money on the estimate when you do that detach and reset. But that photo right there, again, like Janae just saying, shows that you need to do that, and it supports you doing that in your
Mm-hmm.
estimate. So once you have that photo, and then that's the reason why you're detaching and resetting. It'll show that in that photo. Uh, so once I get on the roof, there's a few photos that guys want to make sure these are just some easy photos, your overviews. Make sure that you get on your and take your overview photos. Some people like to wait until they have the roof marked up. As far as what they're going to mark, it's totally fine. Mark your roof up and take some good overview photos, just showing what the roof looks like in its entirety. Walk from one end to the next. Make sure you get ridge shots, back, front. Depending upon how it is. But sometimes you can step in the middle of the roof and just spin around and get overview photos. Um, the bottom of that, let's go to the bottom left here. Um, that's in north, and probably should say back, but whatever. So however you decide that you want to identify the slopes, hail, wind, it pretty much look like that. You see the brackets to the left of it. Um, for me, I think it's easy. I like to do a number count on my vents. If you see that a vent there, it has a 1 in parentheses. That's a turbine. Um, and it's just easy to keep. When I take the photos, it's easy. Pipe jack, 2 pipe jacks. That way you're not going around, you're not taking a photo of each one. You put the number on there, and it's great for photos. It's easy for photos to keep up. When I'm identifying something, you see on this other side, on the right side here. I went from the bottom up. I know you can't really see it here, but there is a test square. When you're doing your test square, they want you to go from like bottom up, if at all possible. when you're showing that. If it's not too steep, it's not too much to get down there. Take it from the bottom up. Try to get all four um, parts of the square in the photo if you can, three or whatnot. You just do it from different angles. That's why you see one on the left, one on the right. Um, that OTH. Sometimes when we see a lot of stuff on there on the roofs, um, who knows what that OTH stands for? Anybody?
Other than hell.
Other than hell. Other than hell. There's a lot of marks up there. So you don't want to act like you don't see the mark. So it's best to notify, point it out. I don't see that. So if it's not hell, put OTH. That's what I do. Was what I was been taught. Put other than hell. This next picture over this PR. What does that PR stand for, guys? Uh-oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Got a little click happen.
PR? What's PR?
PR. Okay, hold on. Let me get to the picture.
Potentially replace.
You see this right here now? What does it look like?
Is it partial replace?
So
partial
as you can see, this is a prior repair. This roof has been repaired before. So when you see a patch like that in your pictures, it's an easy way to identify this is a prior repair. So we know that the roof has had work on it before. These are all indications that, again, like Janae had spoke, one of the most important things that you want to do when you're out there doing these inspections before you even get started and getting out there is looking at the prior loss report, the history, loss history. It's so important. I know it's definitely something that, that I want to definitely implement more. But looking at those prior reports, man, the prior loss history is major. Some people claim the same thing twice. So if you're not careful, you'll pay for the same thing twice. Some you pay for stuff and they don't get it fixed. You look at photos and it's the same exact damage as last season or 2 years ago. So it's really, really, really important to take the time to go back and look at these prior histories and photos. So those are the pictures on the roof. So when you're on the roof and you took your photos, now it's time to step off the ladder. So stepping off the ladder is important. For me,
scary business.
And it can get pretty scary because of that first step. So, I like to get next to the ladder. And my first step, I like to try to put it in the center of the ladder as much as I can. I want the ladder to go down. I don't want it to go to the left. I don't want it to go to the right. So I try not to put my foot to the left or the right of the ladder. I don't want any movement in that. So I try to get my first foot down and I put it in the middle of the ring. And another thing, when you're setting up your ladder, I forgot to mention this. You want your ladder 3 feet. That's 3 rungs above the roof, above the point. That's 3 rungs. That's OSHA requirements, and it's safe. So if OSHA pull up and you don't have your 3 rungs, they will ticket you. They'll fine you for that. But it's just the safest. If you have those 3 rungs, it's easier to grab on and turn around and put your foot down as you're exiting off of the roof. So that's pretty much my ladder safety that we get, guys.
I'm sorry, Mitch. Can I add one thing to the ladder safety
Yeah, sure.
that I realized too is when you're setting up your ladder and you just you put that first step on, if your hands are like this, that ladder is not at a good enough angle. You should be able to put your hands out a little bit, maybe not fully extend your arms, but you should be able to put your arms out. It should not be this close. If it's this close, you can step up and fall back. So make sure that you do put it at a good angle. Do that arm test just to make sure that it's at a good angle for yourself. But go ahead, continue.
No, absolutely. That goes for the 75-degree angle thing. You want it at least a 75-degree angle. For every 4 feet that you go up, your ladder should go out a foot. So at 12 feet high, your ladder should be out 3 feet. So 8 feet, do the math. You don't want it at a couple, almost 2, 3, but like she says, you don't want it too close to you because that tilt action on that back can cause an accident. So we definitely don't want to go there, guys. So man, those are just some things about being safe while you're out here in the field. Um, I've also worked on the inside. It's not a lot of safety, that you have to traverse. Being in the inside on the deployment, other than just the dangers of being in the inside and the building and the desk and all of that. But still being prepared, to work on the inside. Preparedness is a big key here as well. So you want to be prepared for either or, in any way you can, but definitely if you're in the field, being prepared, safety, thinking about safety and having your mind on safety is just as important as having your mind on being out there and ready to close these claims, because you want to be able to get out there and go home every night. If you're out there hurt, you can't go out there and write these claims. So for me, safety is
Yeah,
paramount.
safety.
Safety, 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 safety. Again, safety is paramount, man. All this stuff that
I
we're
would
talking
just
about. Go ahead.
I would just say also that like the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is get comfortable when it comes to the ladder. Don't ever get comfortable. I don't care if you've been up there 1,000 times. That
Hmm.
first step off that ladder and that first step on is when you need to pay attention the very most.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
The
just why I say
most
don't get
injuries,
comfortable.
the most injuries happen on a one-story, non-steep roof. Like you'll get
Getting
comfortable.
comfortable.
Yeah,
Getting
Yep.
comfortable.
Yep. I got this. I got this. This is just
Yeah,
a
it's easy. Oh,
four.
this is a
This is a
four
four
pitch. This is
pitch. This is a
five.
four
Yeah.
pitch. I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's just a little rain. It's not that slick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You good. When you get
Been
there, like you
there.
said, then boom to boom. I've seen it. I've seen that. I've been on the roof working with some guys, and one of the guys came off. It was just a little ring, and his crew, they didn't have,
Oh
wasn't holding the
man.
bottom of the ladder, and it came off. Yeah, he came off the roof. But fortunately, we was coming from a second to a first, and he just landed on a first, and it wasn't that bad. But he
Hey
definitely
Clifton, you
fell.
got a question? You got a question?
I have something to add about the ladder safety.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the first thing is at the Alacrity deal I went to, a really good piece of practice or protocol they showed us to stand with our toes against the rails of the ladder where it's touching the ground and stand
Yep.
straight up
Right.
in it, and you should be able to
And
fingertip
put your arms out.
the
Yeah,
rub.
extend your elbow. Yep. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that. Yeah, that's
And
facts.
then the other thing is never set your ladder up on a wooden deck.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Don't
gonna mention
ever
definitely.
do
that.
that.
Yeah,
If
yeah, I
you
was
can
gonna mention that.
avoid that, man, those things
Because
Yeah,
can
you
slip very
think the wooden
easily.
deck would be good, but it you put that metal on the wood and you compress it, it gets slippery.
especially if it's wet.
Mhm.
If it's dry,
Right.
you may be all right. If it's wet, I would suggest don't do it, unless you got somebody
Mhm.
down there, at the foot of the ladder, and it's
Exactly.
still, But yeah, that's definitely a good
And
point, man.
don't
Thank you for that.
be embarrassed to say, "Hey, can you just put a foot down there on that ladder when you're coming down?" I'll tell you right
Absolutely.
now, I've asked many policyholders if they're standing there, "Hey, do you mind just putting your foot down there real quick for me, just so I can make
Yeah,
sure my first step on that ladder is good?"
right. So I don't care about you being embarrassed. Be embarrassed. Like I would rather you be safe.
Right.
You could be embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed, but could you please help me be safe? I don't care about you being embarrassed. Be embarrassed,
Fact.
but be safe. Be safe
Fact.
is first. And something as easy as asking somebody to hold a foot, especially if they're down there looking at you. If you got the
Right.
contractor letting you go up first. Hey man, can you put? And they'll do it. Before you get
Yeah.
down. But if you ask them, that I haven't heard anybody be like, no, what are you doing? Are you chicken? Anything like that. So no, we're
Right.
all trying to take care of each other out there, man. The contractors, the PAs, all of that, man. Once we get on that ladder, we all
Mhm.
the same. We all trying to be safe. Ain't nobody out here trying to be, a superhero. And I'm trying to get this job done,
Right.
for the insurers and everything. But I'm sure the insurer wants me to go home, and be safe as well. So
And one thing I
Coach
wanted to
that,
K.
throw in
Joy got
there.
a
go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Kayvon.
So I just did an inspection on Thursday, and I saw a device or a tool that I've never seen before. So we know about tying your ladder off with the like bungee type cords or whatever to make sure it's safe. But it was like a ladder lock. But sometimes they have these ladder locks that are already like you could attach it to the top of your ladder and
Hmm.
put it
Mm.
on the roof. but I saw something where it's like you clamp it to the ladder and it also clamps to the gutter as well. I can't remember what the exact name of it was. I took a picture of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend getting those too. Like I'm gonna go and
Yeah.
buy those personally for
I've seen it.
myself.
It's a little bit bulkier. It's a little bit more
Mhm.
bulkier, bigger. Like I think it's maybe orange or something. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's definitely good. Another good thing that I didn't have a picture of,
Mhm.
and you know, they have a lot of stabilizers that you put at the foot of your ladder. They
Mhm.
have things that you can put your ladder in. It's like a little thing you can, you know, nail it to the ground, drill it to the ground or whatever. But you push your ladder in. There are all kind of things safety wise. All you have to do is look it up. You know, ladder stabilizers, things of that nature
Mhm.
that you can look up and find for that. You know, to be safe. You know, again, that's paramount for me. Starting out, you know, we can go over and all of this, teach you about different parts of roofs and how to do an inspection and all of this stuff. But for me, first and foremost, is to make sure that we get you up on this roof and it's safe and get you down safe. And other stuff in the
I
middle,
think
we'll work that out.
I think Coach K Joy got something to say.
Thanks, Janae. So just a few things real quick, and then maybe two questions that have been dropped in the chat. But so a few things I want to just clarify, team. So being out in the field, you guys are the eyes for the desk. But I also want to say that if you're working the desk, you still need to be able to identify hell. So please don't assume based on the conversation that's happening right now that, you know, like 100% their photos that come in is all you need, because there's going to be conversations and disputes on the back end with supplements and certain things that happen, that even if you're working a desk assignment, you have to be able to identify hell and be able to stand on that based on the photos that your field partner provides, or determining
Absolutely.
based on what a contractor sends in dispute. So I just want to clarify that. Sometimes people don't understand that have never worked inside at the desk. They just feel like, hey, Bill's taking care of it, I'm good to go. Well, like Meat showed, he's got stuff labeled other than hell. This is really important for people to understand whether you're working inside or at the desk, because identifying things that are not damaged by things that are going to be covered is really important, because your other partners are having to have those conversations on the back end in case you're not on an assignment where you're getting all the supplements back. And typically at some point still the field is going to shut, you know, it's going to dwindle down, and that's going to go back to people in-house. So y'all's eyes and actually being able to identify hail for what it is, or blisters, or whatever else has happened up there, is 100% significant, not only for you, but helping your teammates out you may never hear from, you may never know. And I can say that from, you know, from working that end of it, and then having to give that feedback from things that you get that are like, oh, this ain't quality. You know, we can't have these conversations. We're going to send somebody back out. But the other thing I wanted me to address is you use the word test square. I don't know if everyone on here knows what a test square is. So can you clarify that? And then can you tell us who OSHA, everybody may know who OSHA is just based on other things, but can you clarify those two things for us? And then I think I saw Travis's hand up too.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. A test square. A test square is normally a 10 by 10 area, 100 square feet that we mark on each slope to try to identify the damage in that particular square, in that area. So we identify all the markings, whether like Candace was just saying, whether it's hail, other than hail, whatever is in that test square represents that slope. Um, there are times in which the slope may be a little smaller. You may have to do a 10 by 5. That's acceptable. There are times when that slope is too steep, some kind of crazy something, and you can't get down there to actually do a 10 by 10. They want 100 square feet. So if you have to extend along that ridge and go down to get 100 square feet, you don't have to go all the way down there 10 feet and 10 by 10. You know, you get your 100 square feet another way. But like I said, if you can stay more along the ridge to do that test square, that is acceptable as long as you have 100 square feet in your square. But again, the test square is what the representation of that slope. We go and we mark what everything that we believe in there. We identify it as what we believe is hell, other than hell. There's all type of damage that, you know, that we identify from nail pops, blisters, and things of that nature. You know, it's so important as far as identifying those things. I didn't even want to get into it with this presentation. I think it's something that deserves its own presentation. Speaking on identifying
For
hail
sure.
and damages and things in that nature. That's how important that is. So I'm pretty sure in the next week or two we will be getting something and get to a point where we can do a presentation on identifying hail. And I think what else was that? Yeah, I think they identified. What else did you say, Candace? That's it.
Explaining what
And
OSHA
OSHA,
is.
OSHA. OSHA stands for, what does it stand for? Do you know what it stands for? I can't remember
Well, I
right
was just
now.
gonna say, I mean, maybe you could just so y'all, I just really want to get they're an entity that
Okay.
basically comes out and verify, they set certain parameters we have to follow, right? For, like he said, for safety and certain guidelines. Like you said, they're gonna drive around. A lot of times you won't even know, you may not even know they're on the scene or driving through the neighborhood. So I just more or less wanted that. So a lot of people may already know who they are just from other standards, but in case, I always want to take it from a standpoint of, us building on that in case.
Yeah, OSHA, they're the safety people.
And Travis also had his hand up, and the Major had a question in the chat.
I just
Okay,
wanted to add a little bit.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add a little bit to the test square. You don't necessarily need to go ahead and get your tape measure out and, go across 10 feet, go down 10 feet. Maybe in the beginning, if that's, what you want to do. But typically, when you're working with 3 tabs, we know almost all 3 tabs are 36 inches. That's 3 feet right there. You do 3 of them, that's 9. You do another tab or so, that's your 10 feet. You know what I'm saying? So just walk it that way. We know that the exposure is roughly 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches. You go ahead and count those down. That's typically how I would do a test square. Where I'm at right now, the hail hits are like non-existent, so I don't even have to do test squares. But when you have those kind of spread out hits, you really want to make sure that you do a proper test square so that they can see, like, hey, even though it looks a little wide, it is within that 10 by 10. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and you can do steps too, like what she was saying. You can count it or whatever. And usually your foot is almost a foot. So take that in consideration. You walk over 10 steps, boom, 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 boom. Maybe add a couple of other ones, one more or whatever for good measure, and then you're pretty good. So like she said, it doesn't have to be. They're not exactly 10 or strict by that, but but again, even on doing that, when marking a square, safety's first. Safety is first. If it's taking you a lot and you can only do those top 2 brackets safely, just do those 2. Practice safety first, and then, if you can get to that, that's fine. Take the photos as you need. Get into a valley or something if you need to go down and take a photo showing up or whatever. But definitely always practice safety. We have any other questions? Because I definitely,
I think Larry, no, Tribe, no.
LP.
All right.
Major has one in the chat.
Okay.
No,
Okay, so
Janae, you answered my question. That's what I was wanting to know. How do we get the measurement for the 10 feet of the?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so guys, now I'm going to end with a little bit more of stuff.
I think,
so is this this is more of the stuff.
Yeah, one more. I'm sorry,
there
was one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
What would you do? What would you do if a contractor says to use their ladder?
So I'm gonna keep it a buck.
That is a tough one.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. The answer is do not use their ladder.
That's the proper answer for sure.
That is the answer. Do not use their ladder.
Do not
use their ladder. Because I'm telling you, not just because you're gonna leave you on the roof. No. They'll come back. Don't pay for that roof. He didn't even have his own ladder. He had to use my ladder. They'll throw it
Don't
right
let
back
them
in
take
your
a photo
face.
of you.
Oh my God.
You
oh man, I'm
while
telling
you
you,
going up there.
And they've charged what is it called a charge. I've seen them send in a
ladder
charge,
fee,
a ladder assist fee. They send in a ladder. I've seen somebody send in a ladder assist fee because an adjuster used that ladder. So I joke with them and everything. Nah, man, you ain't gonna charge me, are you? Or whatever. Let them know.
Right.
However, and I'm gonna keep it a buck.
But
no, but the real answer is more than likely you may use it. You know what I mean? Just because it's there, it's set up.
The proper answer is no. Don't.
The proper answer is no. You didn't hear it from me. But being out in the field, give you a real world answer. More than likely, sometimes you may use it. But the proper answers. There's no,
And being a woman in the field, I get offered every single time. Hey, it's okay. My ladder's already set up. You can go right up there.
Right. And me
And
being a
where I'm
cute
at
guy,
right now, I don't even
in the
risk it
field.
because I already know that I'm not buying. I'm not like the hell here is so small. They're trying to sell me blisters. They're trying to sell me granule loss. They're trying to sell me everything. So I just use my own because I already know that they're probably not going to be happy with me. So let me just skip all that and just use my own ladder.
Right.
Though.
Everybody, man, try to kick my ladder down and take their ladder and leave you up there. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and bring this to a close for my part of this. This is more along the lines of stuff. And I just wanted to, talk about, here at 360. I know, you see us wearing our stuff and everything. On the back of this is a wild dog. That's something that we sort of we took on. And wild dog because we like to liken ourselves to the wild dog. A lot of people think that the lion is the king of the jungle, but wild dogs kill lions. A pack of wild dogs can kill a lion, and this is how they do. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. So wild dogs have a very intricate social structure. We do too. As humans, we have a very intricate social structure. There's much bonding to be done. It's 360. We bonded a lot. From the beginning until now, there was a lot of bonding that needs to be done. So with wild dogs, their pups are cared for by any of the adults. Any of the adults, and that they take care of all the pups that are there. So for those new and coming in, LP is a pup. Larry is a pup in here. So we got a couple of old dogs like Travis in here that'll take care of Larry, that'll make sure he's good. We try to give him and everything. We want them to eat and look out. So we'll like it. And that way as well. The wild dog is one of the very few mammals that look after the old, sick, and weak and disabled members of the pack, just like us. So the wild dog is a tough predator. It's an agile predator, strong by itself. But a pack of wild dogs is a singular force of nature. They do it with teamwork, allegiance. They're strong, and their sense of community is very important, and that's how we are. They're one of the most, if not the most, successful predators out there. Every 8 or 9, every 10 times they go, they're successful 8 or 9. That's the highest rate out there. And again, they do it by teamwork, by community, and by taking care of each other. And that's why we identify at 360 here with the wild dogs, because that's what we are. We take care of each other. We're community based. We believe in that. We believe in taking care of our pups. Making sure that everybody eats. We want to make sure that everybody eats. And there's a lot of people in here that make sure that you eat before they do. So that's what I want to end on, man. We're wild dogs for a reason. So if you see us out here barking, you probably just see me barking. I don't think you're gonna see nobody else barking.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I don't think nobody else gonna be barking. So if you see me barking, that's what that is. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me in my presentation this week, man. Again, just safety is paramount. I want y'all to, man, just practice safety out there when we get out there, because I know y'all coming and I know y'all going to get out there. Again, like Kayvon says, the best decision that he's made, and I agree with that. So when we get out there, when we get out there, I don't want to get our brain so wrapped around and trying to do the right thing and estimates and everything that we forget about safety. That is more important than any of that. You as a person are more important than that estimate. You're more important than any of that to me.
100%.
So I want to make sure that you guys, really, really, really focus on being safe out there and getting on that ladder and getting off that ladder and utilizing it is one of the biggest tools that we use. So for me, that's definitely one of the things I want to bring to attention. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I appreciate your time and attention again.
Yes, sir.
Man, do y'all have any questions or whatever, man? Shoot them, fill out those forms.
I just want to say hurricane season about to start in like 2 weeks. These storms gonna keep rolling in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's go.
Stay ready.
Everybody.
Stay ready.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Time to hit our shmoney dance, Travis.
Shmoney. Big shmoney.
All right. Well,
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, please follow us on social.
That information. Go ahead, Janae.
Yes, sir. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we appreciate that information, man. Like, safety, ladder safety. I feel like that's more important than any other thing that we've spoken on in any meeting. Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, we're replaceable. We fall off a roof or we get hurt. Our managers might show some type of empathy or, compassion, like, oh man, I'm sorry that happened to you. But at the end of the day, we're just, we'll get replaced. So always remember that, trust your gut instinct. Trust me, I'm one of the people where, if I feel like something doesn't feel safe, I'm not telling you guys to do this, but I'll get as far on the roof as I can. And I'm 6'3", so I'm kind of tall, and I'll just extend that arm up and I'll get that as close of a picture as I can. But it's like, my life is more important than trying to get this estimate. So that, like we said, ladder safety is very important. Do what you can, and do whatever you feel comfortable with. So we appreciate that information on Meech, for real. But
Absolutely.
with that being said, I would like to also remind you guys again, if you haven't, please fill out our feedback form. And next week we will have a panel, and our panel speakers will be BJ Brown and Coach Ryan Walker. It will be week 46 of Laboratory of Redemption. So if you guys are available next Sunday, please feel free to join us again. We'll be talking, about some more good information that will be very beneficial for everyone in here, especially considering the fact that, like Janae said, we're right upon hurricane season, and we can already tell. I've been living in Houston since I was 10 years old. I'm 27. I turned 28 on Wednesday. I don't ever remember a tornado hitting Houston, and that just happened. It was a bad tornado. So this weather has been really crazy and it's been active. So it's about to be a pretty active hurricane season for us. So everyone, just please make sure that you join us next Sunday to get as much information as we can as we lead into all being deployed, which is coming very soon. So
Yes, sir. Happy birthday coming up.
thank you. Big
Happy
28.
birthday, happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
2 years till 30, man. It's crazy.
Just
Hey, man,
one more
that's
thing real
awesome.
quick. Definitely happy birthday, Mr. Hill. Hope you have a great one for sure. But with that being said, what he said before we close out, we definitely just want to, make sure, hopefully everyone's family with what he said. Tornadoes that hit Houston, not only hit Houston, but hit so New Orleans. A lot of people, have been involved and impacted. So, if you have family and friends that were involved in that, they're definitely in our thoughts and in our prayers. We hope everyone is safe. If you need anything from us, definitely reach out and let us know.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Jay, to jump in on your time there.
No, you're good. Definitely. Both of my
All right,
hometown.
Trav, do your dance.
Go ahead, Travis. Hit
Boy,
your
it's
smurf
over.
dance.
Oh, right. He don't got no music. He don't got no music.
They need some music.
I feel like he don't need any
All
music
right,
to dance.
Right.
Happy
Yeah.
dance.
That's his own beat.
That boy, all it.
But all right, y'all. I hope y'all have a great Sunday, and I'll see y'all soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kayvon, have a good one, man. Be safe out
All
there,
right.
bro.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
be safe, man.
Thanks, y'all.
All
Have a
right,
good one.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Have a great week.
Have a good evening, guys.
Good job, Meech.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right,
you.
y'all. Yeah,
Nice
good job,
job,
Meech.
Meech.
Everybody
I'll
go
hit you up in
Mavericks.
a minute.
Anybody that want to stay, y'all want to stay, have any questions or anything y'all want to ask,
Good point.
Travis can holler at y'all. No, I'm just kidding. We all here, man.
I was
Yeah,
like,
is the